Hello, it's Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition. We've had a nice pump of Bitcoin and Ethereum throughout the week. We're up, I don't know, 5 or 10%. I really should have looked that up before getting on, but the trend is up. So we've closed above 30K for Bitcoin, above 2,000 for Ethereum. Let's go to the chart. All right, should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we had our close above 30K here on Tuesday, 30,200, a little dip the next day, and then closed above 38K, excuse me, yesterday, and looks like we will again today. So looking good on the Bitcoin side. Ethereum, I was looking at this article by Cointelegraph a little while ago. They had that staking release, Shanghai, Chapella, whatever. I hear both names. Maybe I'm confusing two things that are similar.
No, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, okay. But very few of the people who received their staking Ethereum sold it. That was a concern, thinking we'd have an Ethereum dump. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to read that article, but anyway, I think that's the reason Ethereum had such a good week. I've redone my structure. We've broken above the 2000 area that we were stuck in since since May or June. Maybe it was here in August, excuse me. Last time we were at 2000. So now I've moved that up to the top side being just under 3000 and bottom side 1400. So that's the new zone, kind of almost to the middle of that zone. Wouldn't surprise me if we broke that in the next couple months, maybe even sooner. Ethereum's looking really good. So market trending up this week, and there's still all kinds of, potentially negative economic news and concerns out there, but the market seems to be doing okay. The volume's not as good as I would like. We don't have, the retail FOMO in yet, but I hear rumors that it's lurking out there. If Bitcoin stays above 30K and Ethereum stays above 2, we get some more retail traders in, and that tends to push things up. But it also can be the beginning of the end. So of the mini bull run we've had in 2023. Any questions or comments about the market overall? Robert,
Well,
Craig, you guys
it's
aren't gonna
certainly
chime in?
moving in the great directions. I noticed the altcoins are going up, but they're definitely not going up proportionally, which is, sad for a lot of us that are trying to get some of our older trades into
Hmm.
profits. I think a lot of the altcoins maybe went up they did go up about 4 or 5%, a lot of them, but they were so beaten up. I think ETH went up almost double Bitcoin. I think ETH went up over 10%.
Yeah, let's Ethereum today, at least according to my trading view watch list here, 4.5% in the last 24 hours, and Bitcoin's up just a couple, 0.2%. So yeah, Ethereum's looking really good, and then some of the other, just looking at this real quick, see what's pumping. Most of these are Ethereum-based coins, so looking really good. I've been trading SXP. I traded Woo. Um, yeah, a couple of the blue chips too, like Solana and shout out to Craig. Yesterday was the 13th. I had
Mm,
my monthly Craig Doge trade.
wow,
So I did two of those, 1% on the chart, 10% leverage. So 10% trades. Feeling good about that.
great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your commission check is in the mail, Craig.
Yeah, checks in the mail. Okay. Anything else on the
Chick,
market overall before we bounce over to Altcoin Alert? Look for some trades.
I didn't think chicks existed anymore.
Well,
That's that's why you're gonna get one. You can't do anything.
yeah. Uh, well, I went to my bank today and there's nobody there. I think they couldn't have a meeting with me. That's a story for another time.
Not a good
All
sign.
right, let's check Altcoin Alert and see if we can find some trades. All right,
Actually, something just before we go there, something on the market.
okay.
I did read or saw a headline. I didn't read it. About the altcoin season is here. Some commentator thought that the altcoin season had started. So
Well, with the movement we've had in Ethereum, the number one altcoin, that's certainly a valid point. How long this sustains is going to be the issue. So, but yeah, altcoin season sounds good to me. All right, altcoin alert. Okay, I'm on the altcoin radar. Got all the information, many columns from which to sort. I usually start with the AA score. Looking for values of 80 or higher if possible, but I don't have that today. The highest I have is Curve 77, and I was looking at CHR. My bad. I'm looking for 80 or above because Pizza Mind of CryptNation and Altcoin Alert states that there's a 80% chance that the coin that reaches that AA score will go up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. So I'm usually looking for those 80s. I'm not seeing one today, but Curve is pretty close. So let's check that one out. Okay. Let me get this cleaned up a little bit. I'm on the 5-minute chart, and let me get back to where I was. Curve, there we go. Well, we missed this dip sequence. This is a really good looking 1, 2, 3 dip. 1, 2. Well, this one hit the SMA line. So 1, 2, 3. Probably get in right about here. To the SMA line would have been 1.4%, and you're in that for about 2 hours. Good stuff. If you're looking for a bigger move, maybe that 3%. There is some resistance right around 3% or so here. At 110, you'd still be in that trade though. That one hasn't gone that far up yet. But we don't have that
just
set up at the moment.
just a question there, CJ.
Okay.
When you measured to the SMA line, did you take it from where the trade opened or where the trade hit the SMA?
From where it opened.
From
So
where it
in
opened.
theory, yeah, 1, 2, 3, probably would have been in like right about here.
So you take it straight up, which is
Yeah,
actually the peak. Okay.
yeah.
I've
And
never
that's the
understood that before.
teaching of, or one of the options. When I first learned about the 1, 2, 3 dip from iCoin Pro, I talk about that on Monday nights. But I've since altered my exit where I'm looking at resistance and retraces. So, for those, you guys know this, but for those of you watching on the, I'm seeing resistance right about here, multiple touches back here. This one goes up and down again. So this might be my target for resistance. There's some even more touches down here a little bit, so that's more conservative. So if I take that dip sequence, yeah, it hasn't hit it yet because I would have gotten in probably right around here after the third dip. And yeah, not quite there yet. If I was trading it manually, I might have seen this and then see it start to fade. I might have gotten out around here with 1.5. So, and if you pile up a lot of 1%, 2% wins, your balance can grow pretty quickly. Most of us on this call are trading on leverage. So we're going to be at 5x or 10x or even higher leverage. So 1% on a chart's really good for us because that's going to be a 10% trade on leverage. And if you pile up 10% trades, your balance is going to grow real fast. So, but obviously it's riskier, and you shouldn't do that unless you have experience and success trading spot first. Okay.
So I've got a question regarding just the way these are analyzed. So obviously, when we're measuring them now, the way you are, it's always on hindsight, which is very easy to see. Oh well, we would have written it up here, but don't you usually set some kind of a exit point when you get into a trade? So maybe you're not going to, in other words, get the full benefit of the write up based on how we're seeing it in hindsight.
Well, I don't have any choice at the moment but to show it in hindsight because, had we started this Zoom at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we would have been in the midst at the end of this dip sequence.
Right.
So, and then as far
But,
as my
but
exit,
right, that's what I mean. Your exit.
that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking, to get that 3% that we talked about earlier, and then if I can align that with reasonable retrace resistance points like we have here,
Right.
then that's to me is an obvious exit choice.
I see.
And that's what I like to use when I'm trading this particular strategy.
Right. But that particular resistance was a spike, which seems like it's going to be a hard one to hit again, even now looking at it in hindsight.
Yeah, I would agree with you had it not happened fairly recently before that. So we have something pretty similar here with about 4 touches at this 110 level, and then it
Yeah.
goes back a couple hours later at 110
Right.
again. So if price has memory, like Bryce of CryptNation likes to say, it should return again there, either uh, tonight, this weekend, or Monday or Tuesday. So you might, if you do a long and this is your goal, it's a bit ambitious. If I'm doing a long on a Friday afternoon, I'm probably gonna be less ambitious. Maybe take this middle area here as my resistance point, and
Right.
then even then I'm still in that trade. I could even just take 1% of the SMA line, like I did at first. That's right about here. Take that 1.4% in 2 hours. That's a good trade too. So
Yeah.
it just depends on how aggressive you want to be, what the market's doing, what the coin's doing. If I'm trading off the 5-minute chart, I would usually look at the 15 and the hour just to see the market overall. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. But as a practical matter for me, I'm trading mostly off the 15-minute chart and indicators, which is what we're going to look at next. So, all right, so I'm going to go over here to the 15-minute, and there's a couple indicators I like to use. One is divergence. And this is where you have disagreement between the indicators and the price action. It has some predictive ability. It's far from perfect, but it's one of my favorite ways to trade. And this particular indicator, version 4, divergence from many indicators, that's going to be your RSI, MACD, MFI, all the indicators we talked about before in the 2+ years I've been doing this. So you kind of lump them up. And that's why you see them listed here. Like on this one, 5 indicators showed divergence on the bearish side. You're taking that trade. You could have had a 2.4%. And if you're doing shorting something like this, making money when it goes down, you're almost always going to be on leverage 5, 10x. So that would be a really good trade, that kind of thing. But sometimes you get something like this. Actually, this would have been less. Maybe you're shooting for 1% on a chart at 10x leverage. Okay, you don't get it. Now it goes against you. Oh no. Not that bad though. About 5%. Probably ladder buy in here, and then maybe get out around here. Small loss on your first position, good profit on your second one. It averages out. But ladder buying on short positions in a market that's trending up is dangerous. You should probably employ a stop loss that's somewhere in that scenario. Okay, so that's the short side. On the long side, yeah, with the long sides, I'm more aggressive in an overall long market for obvious reasons. So all these, these prior divergences look pretty good. This one here goes up about 1.3%, not bad. It drops down here, and then now you're pretty much breaking even. So, and it's real easy to set alerts on this one. Right click, divergence. The first one's listed as negative. If you're trading spot, you want the positive. Once per bar close, and I'll keep it on all day. It'll also help reduce repainting, where the indicator flickers on that it's gonna, that the alert's gonna go off, and then it changes its mind and goes away. So that's what we call repainting. Usually because it gets new information. And for a name, I'd go with AA score, because that's the information source. And that's how you do that. An easier approach, but something that's going to fire off usually less frequently, is going to be your super trend. And this is, the trend is your friend, trading with the trend. And I've also got these other indicators here for confirmation. Confirmation isn't real useful on divergence, but it is on trend-based indicators. So on this buy alert that went off yesterday, we have the stochastic RSI trending up. The impulse MACD's just crossed over. So that's actually flat at the time that the buy goes off, but makes a nice move. So that one works out really well. The sells, not as much. Yeah, that one doesn't work. This one did okay. Yeah, 1.5%. So if you're trading both directions, like I frequently do, your alert's going to look like this: super trend direction change, once per bar close, AA score. Now we're going into the weekend, which generally means less volume, and sometimes prices drop. Then you can go with your super trend sell. That's if you have experience on leveraged exchanges, shorting something. But if you're trading spot, you're going to want the buy. Okay. And then the setup that I talked about last on Monday, which I've been using again. Here it is. Let's go to CRV. And on this one, I'm trading off moves on the RSI. This is not the stochastic RSI you saw in my prior chart, but this is a little different setup. Looking for 1, 2, 3 dips and 1, 2, 3 pumps using the RSI. So generally speaking, when it dips below the 30 value and comes back up, that can be a good place to enter. That happened on the 15-minute chart at about 9:30 this morning. So if I go over to the 5-minute chart, you'll see that's catching the tail end of this dip. That's why I like this, this 15-minute alert so much, because it lets me know the tail end of a dip sequence on the 5-minute chart. So had I gone over here at 9:30, I would have seen that, got a dip sequence, and it was maybe I wait a little bit to see if it's coming back up at 9:50. I probably would have gotten in right around here, maybe here. How convenient. It's a perfect entry. To the SMA is 1.7, a little over 1%. Some resistance here, right around 2.3%. I just would have made that. Again, I think we've looked at this before. Had I gone for the more aggressive 3%, I'd still be in that trade, but doesn't work out perfectly. But those 15-minute alerts on the RSI can let you know when something's dipping and coming back up. So then on this one went on the short side, went up, then started to come back down. So that alert would have gone off right about here and then dropped, 3%. So the alert I set to catch moves both directions right click on the RSI. And we're going to go entering a channel. So we want to enter the 70 or enter the 30. That's the 70-30 range. 70 on the RSI. If it goes above that, that's generally considered overbought. If it goes below the 30, that's considered oversold. If I do this alert, AA score, and create it, you'll see this rectangle forming here on the RSI. So when it drops below and comes back up, that alert triggers, and then I can get that entry right here. You know, when it drops, it goes above this and then drops below, you know, I get that entry here and I catch this move. So I've been liking these RSI alerts. I'm testing this. Just going back to the basics. I used to use these a lot. I kind of got away from it when I did more with divergence and the SuperTrend and other trend-based indicators, but it's kind of fun to get back to this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
you're saying you cannot use that same technique on the stochastic RSI with the settings?
I tried it. I thought it just went off too much.
Okay.
But yeah, if you guys want to try it, maybe on the maybe 20 or 30-minute chart or something like that, that would be interesting. I don't think I've tried that in any time recently. So yeah, like I said, back to the basics. This is something I did 2.5 years ago when, you know, we had those moves in late 2020, early 21, had some success with it. So this market reminds me of a watered down version of that. And that's what brought it to mind. So I thought I'd share it again. All right. And I didn't share the stochastic RSI approach on this one. I thought it was overlapping too much on this one I just showed you. So that's CRV. Any questions on that one? Okay, I spent a lot of time on that, so I'm going to go through the rest of these pretty quickly. Another approach I like is I've been using this, shout out to John, social activity sort. And I'm looking for, you know, fire or thumbs up on the social activity matches with the trading activity. We've got quant, which is a really good spot trade to make. I believe it's on Coinbase. So I haven't looked at that in a while.
And it's
I
a pretty good
I trade,
AA.
yeah, I trade mostly on leverage. I'd love to see this show up on the leverage exchange, but I haven't seen that yet. Let's look at, all right, there it is on there. Let's go to the 5-minute. Clean this up. And we did have a dip sequence here last night. Very squeezy at the moment. Yeah, not even 2% between the Bollinger Bands, so it's just going sideways, trending up a little bit, but not where we want to enter. We didn't discuss a price alert on the last one. Looks like we have some support here on the 5-minute chart. Short-term support right around 118.70. So that might be a place you want to set an alert and reevaluate. So right click here, add an alert. And this was a social activity sort. And yeah, price alerts only go off once, so we can't click the every time option, but if it goes sideways, it'll make you nuts, especially on a 5-minute chart. So that's how you do that. But, you know, I prefer the indicators. Take a quick look at divergence. Again, we don't have a leverage option here, so we're only going to be trading the positive divergences or the bullish ones, and they're all pretty good. You know, even going back here to Wednesday afternoon, you know, it's a 1% move, even longer if you stayed in longer. Probably the only one that's not so good. This one only went up about 0.4%. You get this move here, almost 3%. Assuming you get out there, but if you hung in there, you get this big drop. then maybe you're in a ladder buy. If you ladder bought around the 5 or 10% area or both, you'd be in profit at this moment, maybe still in the trade.
Mhm.
Okay, it's divergence. If you want to go with the super trend, you're only going to be on the buy side. So get a really nice entry there. I'm shocked there isn't a buy signal in here somewhere. It's kind of odd. One would think you'd get one right about here, but anyway. So this might be a good one. You should be getting one soon if it continues to trend up a little bit. So you can right click, add an alert. It's already got the buy. It's the first one listed. Once per bar close, social activity, and good to go on quant. And if we go over to our RSI approach, see if we can find a setup there that works pretty well. Yeah, this one had a big drop, crossed here. Oh, this is a great entry. So not sure if it would have gone off in this candle or this one. 4% to the SMA line. But when the SMA line is trending down pretty hard, it's not always the best option. We've got some resistance here, here, and here. 3% right about here. If you use that, you're out in 4 hours. That's a really good spot day trade. So that's how that works. Any questions on quant? All right, let's do another sort. Social 1 hour projected range. I usually look at this. I'm not seeing anything I like. I want usually like 4 or 5% or higher on this average here, and we're not even close. So I'm going to bypass that one. The other one I like is a long-term sentiment. So similar to the social activity, it's configured a little differently in the time frames. You can hover over this question mark and figure out what these actually do. But generally speaking, sentiment, just like it sounds, what people are feeling, what they're posting on Twitter. And then I match that with the elder impulse, which is a technical indicator when these two are in alignment, sort of like social activity and trading activity, but more indicator and data based, then it's worth further investigation. I was looking at INJ earlier. Rose I've traded before. Ada is a classic. Chromia. I think I put an alert on Chromia and traded that earlier today. There's a bunch of them, Ocean, FXS, Ethereum, obviously. So any of these would be worth checking out. Rose is at the top of our list. I haven't looked at that one in a while, so let's, it has such a pleasant name. Check it out. All right, big pump on Rose. So we missed this. Sort of a dip sequence here. Not a perfect setup, but not bad. Support here, right around 6.5 cents. Could be a good price alert if it takes a dump later today. On the 15-minute chart with our indicators, most of these bearish ones, yeah, you might want to go for just 1% on these. That seems to be the pullback amount. Now, yeah, that one would have given you a ride, but come back down eventually. Not bad. And obviously all these would have caught this move here. So this one would have been, you'd still be stuck in this one. I don't know, not loving divergence on the short side on this one. Let's see if SuperTrend gives us better entries. Yeah, one thing I don't like about SuperTrend is if the trend goes for a long period of time, there's no entry at all. It goes from this one here on Wednesday early morning, without another signal till 2 days later. So, but the last three signals are really accurate. Again, assuming that you're going to be careful or conservative on your shorts. Got over a 1% move here, which on 10x leverage is a really good trade, and then this one pumps really well. Almost 5% on that one. So SuperTrend looks pretty good if you don't mind trading once every other day. Let's look at the other setup. See what the RSI is doing over here. So I have rows on, yeah, I have rows on my list. I just looked at it. 15-minute rows. We got a dip down here, and a real perfect entry on the upside. Pretty good one here on the downside. This one as well. This sort of looks like divergence that we just looked at. So most of these, 1, 2, 3 pumps, and then short opportunities. You have to be really, really conservative, and even then, you'd be in these trades for a couple days if you're ladder buying on the short side. Okay, let's look at one more. And then the other one I use sometimes, got Robert here. I think he's the fan of the 24-hour change. Isn't that right, Robert? Oh, maybe he left us. So you can click on this and sort, see what's hot. Ion's been nuts. It drops 30%, goes up 50, drops 20, goes up 40. But I don't know where to trade this thing. Yeah, I don't see it listed on any exchanges, so I don't know how useful that is. It might be on, MetaMask or Uniswap or something like that. INJ, could look at that one. But something that's over 20%, I'm usually looking for like 8 to 12. It's my sweet spot, where it's moving, but it might still have, it's more likely to have more room to move. And then I look for something that I kind of like, where I've had some success lately. Traded this clay before. We just looked at that one. Loop ring, LRC, SXP. I'm trading that one. Let's look at LRC. I haven't looked at that one in a while. Okay, in the 5 minutes. Whoa, had this big pump, gave it all back. That's interesting. Support here around 38 cents. Okay. Super squeezy. Not even 2%. 15, divergence. Wow, nailed this one. So had you gotten in here yesterday morning, yeah, maybe you ladder buy about here, and maybe you get out here. If you get here, you're liquidated probably, or pretty close to it. But if you hold on, you probably get out right around here. Probably take a couple ladder buys in here. And that's pretty risky. And we haven't had any bullish divergence since Wednesday afternoon. Let's see if SuperTrend is better. Okay. Neither of these two look good. This buy obviously did really well. Sell did not. None of these look good. at least not consistently. So I don't like that at all. Let's go over here and see if our RSI would have been better. Okay. No, there's no, there's a dip down here and then a pump over the 20 or the 30 value that happens on Tuesday night, over 2 days ago. Get a pump and then drop here. And that's still trending up. There's another drop here. Would have been a fake out. But eventually, well, no, you would have the same problem, probably liquidated here. None of these look good on loop ring. So yeah, that's unusual. It's rare for me to look at a coin and just none of the approaches really look good. So we just choose not to trade that one. I wouldn't put an alerts on it. I move on to the next. So anyway, that big pump in the middle here at 3 in the morning Pacific time just skewed everything. So, well, I think that's enough for today. Do you guys have any questions about, is there any other coin you want to look at, or anything else you might want to talk about regarding Altcoin Alert or day trading or short-term swing trading? Okay. Well, I will wrap it up here then. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for that. Hope to see you on Monday live, and check out the opportunities listed in the pinned comment. If you are a Carbon member and in the beta testers group, Kevin's webinar is coming up in about 18 to 20 minutes. I will see you over there. So no Carbon webinar for me today, but hopefully I'll have one Monday or early next week. See you guys on the other side.
Thank you.
Yes.